My bank just scammed me. Well, they didn't actually take any money from me, but they did take the ability for me to purchase something really cool away. You see, I am working on a new series of videos where I'm going to be expanding my streaming setup. I'm talking multi-camera everywhere, audio in all of the rooms, and facial recognition to know which rooms I go in, so that way on stream it will switch to those rooms. And I was gonna make a very big investment into some of that setup, but my bank decided to say no, and it really screwed me over. So here's the story about how I got screwed over. I'll try to recycle something from this, I guess. Okay, bye. Make sure you enjoyed the video and like and subscribe. W Bank, by the way. Did I talk about that on stream yet? Okay, I'm gonna start this whole thing because maybe this is a YouTube video. From the top. Boys! Sorry. All right, TLDR, some of you guys know I have been wanting to invest in like a multi-camera setup for stream. And there's been a bunch of different avenues that I've looked at for cameras, whether that's like USB cameras, whether that's SDI cameras, whether that's HDMI cameras, whether that's using an HDMI switcher or something like a Blackmagic ATEM. Long story short, I finally got to the decision of there was an offer that I was presented to be able to buy a bunch of Sony cameras, and particularly at a discounted rate. Thank you, Sony. I won't go into too much detail about how I got that rate, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, I was really excited because I was looking forward to buying multiple FX30s. Now, for those who don't know what FX30s are, they're part of Sony's cinema camera line. I've used them before with other shoots. Actually, my entire Zombies trailer was shot on an FX30. This entire trailer was shot on an FX30. It was my friend's FX30 we were borrowing. It's Sony's like entry level line to cinema cameras, right? Still pretty expensive, especially here in Canada. But I was like, I would love to have multiple of these because I think it'd be really cool to have multiple camera perspectives for stream, but then also have one of my own for when I want to film more of these trailers in the future, which I do have plans for, like I kind of talked about earlier in this stream. They're very compact, very easy to run and gun with, and ultimately you get a really good looking image. Sorry, I should have given a blood warning. I get the offer from Sony, and the offer was way better than I thought it was going to be. So instead of just buying one, I was like, I'm going to buy 3 of these things. To be very clear, still very expensive. But I thought it would also be a good clickbait YouTube title of like, I spent X thousands of dollars on streaming cameras. Turns out there was an issue, and the issue was with my bank. I established a company this year, Concussion Studios, Inc. I opened a business bank account with that. That way it helps me like keep track of like my expenses a bit more, pay myself technically from the company. It's a little weird, blah, 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 blah. Then was like, okay, well, I'm going to buy these cameras. And what I'll do is I will pay for it with the company credit card. One problem, I don't have a company credit card. So I applied for a company credit card. They said, no. I was like, excuse me? They're like, you can't open a company credit card yet. What do you mean? I need to make a pretty expensive purchase. I'd like to put it on the credit card and then just pay off the credit card. But my bank tells me, well, you don't have enough established income and expenses for the bank to trust you with a credit card yet. I've had the account for like a couple months though. Doesn't matter. Apparently that's not long enough. So I can't get a credit card. Plan 2. I think to myself, I go, oh, okay. I'll pay for it on my credit card, my personal credit card, and I will get my company to just reimburse me. That seems to make sense, right? Because I'm an employee of the company, so I'll just add it to my paycheck, pay myself back. I can only pay my employees, apparently, up to 2,000 Canadian dollars a day. And I was like, how am I supposed to hire any employees though? Like, even if I do like minimum wage payments for people, like I'm gonna start getting close to that. And they were like, well, you could pay yourself in intervals. Just pay yourself the $2,000 every day until it's paid off. And I was like, what? So then I came up with a third plan. In Canada, I don't know if this is a thing in the States, we have something called e-transfer, which is basically a direct bank-to-bank way of e-transferring people literally money. And you can do pretty sizable chunks with an e-transfer and it's instant. It's awesome. It's great service here in Canada. I said, cool. You know what I'll do? I'll e-transfer the money instead of pay myself. My e-transfer has a limit. And I remember looking at the limit. Guess what the limit was? It was also $2,000. How the fuck am I supposed to buy anything as a company if I can't A, get my own credit card for it, or B, reimburse my employees for buying it? Like, this just made no sense to me. So I finally called the bank again, and I said, hey, can I increase the limit of my e-transfer or my payment for my employees so I can buy some of this hardware that I need for my company? No business debit card. The Sony deal was online. I couldn't go into store, and I can't do debit online. I didn't have the right debit card to be able to do that, so that wasn't an option for me. And I'm like, hey, can I increase the limit of my e-transfer? And they were like, no. And I said, why not? Can you please explain to me why I'm not able to do this? And they were like, your account's too new. You need to have your business account for 12 months before you can increase the limit. 12? A whole year? And I was like, sorry, I need to have my account for a year before I can increase the amount I can pay people. And they said, yes. And I said, so how am I supposed to buy stuff for my business to expand my business if I can't buy the stuff? Silence on the phone. Dead silent for like probably 10 seconds, just waiting for her to respond. And she says, well, it's just a standard precaution we have at all banks. And I was like, can I suggest something? That's kind of stupid. Dead silence on the phone. just nothing coming out. I felt so bad because I wasn't calling her stupid. I was literally saying that the entire concept of this was stupid. And so I said, well, I need you to come up with a solution. I was trying to pass the buck to be like, how do I do this? Because I don't know what I'm doing right now, and I can't get this money to complete this. So how do I do this? And she sits there and she says, well, we have a couple of options. I said, okay, I like where this is going. She said, number one, I could write a check to myself, cash it, and that would be acceptable. Perfect. How long will it take me to get checks? 15 to 30 days. I'd like to hear option two, please. She said, yeah, option two is a little quicker. Basically, what you have to do is order a physical token, a physical security token to my branch. I go pick it up. And what that does is it enables me to, I think it was up the payment of employees to $25,000. So that way I would be able to like reimburse myself the full amount in one go. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a great solution. I'm totally open to that because realistically, I have multiple editors. If I start doing 2 videos a week, I could see myself paying more than $2,000 in one transaction anyways. So I was like, I should just do this now, right? We should get this sorted. I was like, oh, thank you. Like, how long will that take? 10 to 15 days. So I'm sitting there like, lady, I need to buy this equipment. Is there any way I can get this done like today? And she said no. There was no way that I was going to be able to move the money quick enough for me to be able to do it. I was a little annoyed because I kind of have a thing where I built up a lot of bad credit debt, so I really didn't want to buy it with my credit card and not have the money to pay it off right away. It's just a mental thing I have. I understand, blah, 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 whatever, right? Let's think of another solution. That's when my good buddy Sherrod steps in. Sherrod was like, hey, I'll buy the 3 cameras for you. I just want to make sure you have the money in your account before I do it. He wanted the credit card points anyways. I was like, Sherrod, I really appreciate you. You're my goat. So what I did was over the weekend, I spent the time transferring the amount of money daily to my account. So that way I would be able to e-transfer him the money because my personal account I've had for longer than a year, which meant the e-transfer on my personal account was okay. I could give him the money back if I wanted to, right? So I spent a couple days putting the money into my account as reimbursement. So that way I could e-transfer it to Sherrod. I finally get all of the money in my account. I message Sherrod and I say, hey, I'm ready to buy the 3 FX30s. They only had 1 in stock. They sold out, chat. How does a camera maker that is Sony sell out of cameras? I like looked at him and I was like, how does this even happen? He's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He was laughing, but he also felt really bad. I was like, dude, I was furious. So I looked at him and I was just kind of like, okay, well now I'm scared that I'm going to lose this one camera that's left, right? I still really want the FX30 at this discounted rate. So I said, let's order 1. So we ordered 1 FX30. It's actually showing up next week. I plan on doing a video about that, showcasing it and whatever. And explaining why I bought this particular camera, a little bit more detail. But then I thought to myself, I was like, damn, Sony's out of cameras. But now I've also got all this money in my account that I can't keep there because it's like business money, right? It's not for me. So now I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, well now I got to buy a bunch of stuff on my personal account that counts as reimbursement, right? So what I decided to do with the extra money that was in my account, I paid for my hotel in Seattle because I'm doing PAX West at the end of this month, paid for my hotel in San Diego for TwitchCon, and I bought, I bought my plane ticket to TwitchCon. So I made sure I paid like all of that stuff. So I was like, oh, I don't have to deal with it in the future. It's all paid off now. It's great. Okay. Money problem sorted. It came out to be a difference of like a couple bucks. It was what it was. I made sure the money was transferred back correctly. All good. All Gucci, right, chat? The next day, less than 16-ish hours later, Sherrod messages me with a picture of him having 3 FX30s in his cart saying that they restocked. The next day, I literally messaged him back saying, I think I'm done living because I've spent the money already. And he just responded with lol. I got absolutely cucked by my bank and then Sony because my bank delayed the money getting to my account because you got to remember at the beginning of this story, they had 3 in stock, but it took so long to get the money that they only had 1 in stock. And because I was scared, I was like, fine, I'll buy it. The next day, they restocked. It's probably for the best. I probably didn't need 3 FX30s. You know, I think this will give me a chance to buy 1 and then buy some other cameras to test with. Okay, that we can then decide what is the right camera for a multicam setup. It's probably for the right choice. It doesn't mean I'm not a little pissed off. But yeah, that's how my bank cucked me. Is that the title of this YouTube video? My bank cucked me? Yes.